Hello, let's do the New York Times Hard Sudoku for June 22nd, 2025. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself, and I'm going to get started right now. All right, we're going to start with our geometry pass. This is where we look at the givens in each box and see how they may affect local rows and columns. And I'll explain what I find if I find anything. So here I'm looking at the 1, 3, 5, 8, and the most interesting thing would be how it might affect this column, because we still need a 1, 3, 5, and 8 in this column. Unfortunately, there are 5 places left, and the chances of any one of these individual cells seeing all of 1, 3, 5, 8 is very low and does not happen. So we're almost there, but what that does tell us is we should probably look at what this 2 is doing to this box, because the 2 does look up, and so 2 ends up in one of these 2. That's going to point down with this 2, putting a 2 in one of these 2. Now, whenever we do a corner mark like this, we want to look at this row, the row they aren't in, to see, okay, where is that digit in that row? Because the only reason we didn't pencil it here is because there's a 6 sitting there, meaning we can't put the 2 in any of these 3 cells. So the 2 ends up over here. This 2 sees this, but unfortunately there's still 4 places for 2. Now, this is a filled box column, so in general, we want to look at these digits and see how they affect this box. So the 6 and the 9 are both not placed in this box. And so the 6 and the 9 need to go over here. And those are going to point down as well, telling us, so the 6s are actually done, but the 9s, these can't be 9 because the 9's up here. So if the 9's up here, it isn't down here, that's pointing. This 9 looks down and puts a 9 in one of these 2. Now what we want to do, remember it's the same situation as this 2 we just did. We didn't pencil the 9 here only because there's a 7 sitting there. So where's 9 in this row? Well, it's not in this box. We already know that from the corner marks we did, but you can also double check from this 9 and these pointing 9s. And it's also not here. And these are all not 9. You got to make sure none of the 9's not already placed. And so that means that this is the only place for 9 in the row, so that's where the 9 has to go. All right, and I have reduced this row to 3 open cells. So I think it's always a good idea just to take a quick glance. Even if you don't end up penciling it, I do pencil 3 or when there's 3 in a cell. But even if you don't pencil it, it's good to think about what are those 3 digits. So 1, 5, and 8. And so what we want to do is we want to think about how 1, 5, and 8 are restricted in these 3 cells. So if I wasn't going to pencil anything, like center mark anything, I would at least notice that this can't be 8. And so that does mean that for this row, the 8's in one of these 2. That's going to do what's called claiming. It's kind of the opposite of pointing. This row needs an 8. It's going to end up here or here. Well, if the 8 is here or here, it can't repeat in this box. It can't be down here. So, as a consequence, we've eliminated 8. I mean, 8 already couldn't have been here because of this 8, but we eliminated 8 from these 2. So there could be follow-up on that. I'm not seeing any like immediate follow-up, but I am willing to just mark up this whole row. It was the 1, 5, and 8. So we know this is 1, 5, this is 1, 5, 8, and then this is 5, 8 because it sees a 1. All right, so that was quite nice. We got this 9. We can follow up on that 9 by putting a 9 in one of these 2. We do want to look for 9 in this row, but there's 3 places for it. And again, a quick glance can get you a whole lot. Sometimes it gets you nothing. In fact, most of the time a quick glance will get you nothing. But sometimes, if you train yourself to always do a quick glance when you encounter certain patterns, then that can be the crux of the puzzle. In many cases, the only way you're going to find it is by looking for it all the time. All right. So that's kind of a lot of like consequence of looking at this box that we've done. Now, we do want to look at the 3, 5, 8 against these 4 cells. Unfortunately, none of them see all of 3, 5, 8, so we can't really do much with that. All right. There is some low-hanging fruit like here, but I'm going to look at that. Well, I was going to look at that later, but I'm noticing this cell here sees the 1 and the 9, and that's 2 of the digits we need in this column. So what's the other digit we need? The 8? No. We need 1, 2, oh, the 4. Okay, so this is 2, 4 only. In general, we need 1, 2, 4, 9. 1, 2, 4. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm actually going to put 1, 2, 4 here and then 1, 4, 9 here, I guess, since I just looked at it. Let's just keep looking at geometry, though. So we have 1, 3, and 5. We want to check this column for where 1, 3, and 5 can go. We see that the 3 ends up down here. Might as well mark that. The 1 also. Ah, yeah. So the 1, 3 looks down. This 1, 3 looks down. So this is what's called a hidden pair. We need to be able to place a 1 and a 3 in this box, and these are the only 2 digits both of them can be in. So one of them needs to be 1 and the other needs to be 3. And that's going to exclude any other digit we thought could be in those two cells. So what was excluded? Well, the 5, 7, 8, 9 was excluded. So we want to look at how 5s, 7s, 8s, and 9s are affected in this box. So for example, this 5 looking down does mean 5 ends up in one of these two. The only reason 5 is excluded from these is because we found that hidden 1-3 pair. So if one of them's 1 and one of them's 3, we can't fit a 5 in there. And I can prove that. I can say, well, I can prove that in another way. I feel like I have already proven it, but if you're not convinced, let's try to make this a 5. Okay. Well, now these two 1s look down. This is the only place for 1. It better be a 1. And now these two 3s look down. And now I suddenly have nowhere to put a 3. So I've broken the puzzle. And so, okay, well, what if I put the 3 here? Well, now these 1s look down, and now there's nowhere to put a 1, right? We need 2 cells to fit the 1 and 3 in, and these are the only 2 cells. All right, so that's the 5s. Now these 5s are going to point up along with this 5. We can't put 5s here anymore because we know the 5 is down here, so it's not going to be up here. This 5 looks down and this 5 looks in, so that does place the 5 in this box. We can continue to follow up on 5s, putting 1 in one of these two. And then, so we were looking at what else was removed. So it's the 5, 7, 8, 9. So the 7 looks in, putting a 7 in one of these two. All right. And so this is only 8, 9, because it's only, these are 5, 7, 8, 9. This is 5, 7, sorry, this is 5, 8, 9. And this is 7, 8, 9. But I think this can be any of them. Okay. And of course, we always want to be scanning to see if we've created a pair or a triple. The easiest time to find a pair or a triple is the moment that you pencil it, other than trying to come back and notice it later. So we have to be penciling as we go in order to find them, but you're hoping to find it when you pencil it, which means taking things a little bit slower, which actually ends up being faster in a lot of cases. All right, the other thing I want to look at is this column, because we've eliminated digits from here, the 5, 7, 8, 9. And so maybe this column has them limited as well. So for example, these two aren't 8. So 8's in one of these two. So it's just the 8 and the 9. So no, I'm not seeing much with that. I am noticing we do need a 6 in the column, and it's not here. So where does 6 go in this column? And the hidden 1-3 pair technically removed a 6, but I mean, it technically didn't because there was already 6 in the box. So however you want to think about that, we do end up having the 6 in one of these 3 cells up here. That's claims this 6. And so the 6 in, the 6 in this box is in one of these two, which is probably an easier thing to have said. And that does point up as well. All right. This formation in general, you want to be looking at this row and just see, like, are there any givens in this row that aren't placed in this box? And so the 6 was useful in that case. Unfortunately, we don't have a second one. A second one would form a hidden pair, which would be excellent. Okay, so we actually found where the 1-3 go for this 1-3, 5. We found where the 5 goes. So I call that a victory. All right. Let's look at this box now. So we got 2, 3, 4, 8. I'm noticing the 3 is placed in this box, so let's just do that. We can follow up on the 3. It's in one of these two. A glance at this column shows that we have a 3 already, right? 2, 3, 4, 8. So the 3, 4, 8. Okay, we need a 4 and an 8 down here. Unfortunately, there's 3 places for that. The 3 is already placed. We need a 2 and a 4 up here. Yeah, I don't think I'm seeing any geometry with this. It's kind of an awkward geometry. Anything looking through this 3, 8 could be potentially nice, like any of these givens. 3 and 8 are already in the box, but the 1 looking in, the reason I say it's potentially nice is if any of these were also a 1, then that would limit it in the box. Unfortunately, we don't have that. But you always want to be looking for, so like we didn't look here, this 1, 3, this 8 looking in. Unfortunately, we don't have an 8 down here to help. But it's a good thing to be looking for if you notice it. 6 and 9. So we do need a 6 in this row. Unfortunately, there's 2 places. We already looked at this box. 1, 3. So 1, 3, 5, 7. So we do need 1, 3, and 7 in these 3 places. I am not seeing a limitation there. I mean, this can't be 3, 7. Unfortunately, it can be a 1, so we can't do anything with it right now. Neither of these can be 3, but that's not here or there. Okay, we've got the 3, 5, and 9. In fact, are 3s done? 3s are not done, but they're close. Yeah, we got 3s here. What about this box? Actually, what's going on with this box? Okay, this 3 looks in. This 3 looks down. That puts a 3 in one of these two. So these 3s are going to point. If the 3 is over here, according to this box, the 3 has to be in one of these two, then it can't be here. That's pointing. So that's going to be a 1 because it has to be a 1 or a 3, and it can't be a 3 anymore. So it's a naked single, so that's a 3. So that cannot be 1 anymore. So 1's in one of these two. And what this is, no, it's not. The 9's leaking out. Originally, I thought this was going to end up being a 1, 8, 9 hidden triple, but the 9 can be there. So that's not true. Talked a little too quickly ahead of my scanning. So what was I doing? I was looking at the 3s. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 3s placed. These are the final 3s. They're either going to end up like this or like this, but we can't tell right now. Okay, so I don't really need to worry about scanning 3s at the moment. 5 and 9 are already in this row. 5 and 9, unfortunately, we can't quite limit them in this column. We know the 9's up here, and we know the 5's one of these two. That's not enough. All right, how about this 2, 6, 7? Do we want to take a closer look at anything? Yeah, the 2, just from a normal scan, we see that the 2 is placed. And then that puts a 2 somewhere in here. The 6 now looks in here. Yeah, the 2 6s look in. Placing the 6. What can I do with 6s? Nothing? So one thing that I'm noticing is that the 6 and the 9 are kind of in this glob over here. They're not here. So if there was a third digit, such as this 5 looking up, then we're gold. So what we've got here is actually, yes, placing this 6 has given us what we were originally looking for, which is to limit the 4 and 8 in this column. So let's just go back and do that. I mean, I found it the opposite way. However you find it is fine. But this 4, 8, now that this 6 was placed, the 4 and the 8 have a hidden pair right here. And this is classic geometry, where we're looking at the givens in this box and how the 4 and the 8 can't be up here. And so we're suspicious of 4 and 8 for the rest of the column. And we see that these are the only 2 open spots in the column, and 4 and 8 aren't placed yet. So this is a hidden 4-8 pair, which excludes any other digit we thought could be in those cells. They have to be one of them's 4 and one of them's 8, so that we can place both the 4 and 8 in this column. And so that means that leaves a pair up here, and one of them's a 1, and this 1 tells us it's not here. So for the column, we need a 1, and it ends up here. And then the final digit for the column is a 7, leaving behind this 4-8 pair. And so now, this is what I was saying earlier, is we have the 5, we have the 9, and we have the 6. So 5, 6, and 9 need to end up in this box somewhere, and they're in this glob over here, these 3 cells. So this is a 5, 6, 9 triple. All right, and so we could have done it in the exact opposite order. Get in the hidden 5, 6, 9 triple here, which would have caused a naked 1, 7 pair here, which then would have reduced these to just 4 and 8. So there's often multiple avenues of attack to get the same exact logic done, especially with these kinds of techniques that we're using. All right, so that was quite nice. I placed the 1 and the 7. I don't know if there's any like good immediate follow-up from that. 7's in one of these two. Okay, I'm not seeing an immediate other follow-up here. And then these are only 4, 8 now. Okay. So, okay, that was nice. What was I looking at when I did that? I don't know. I think I'm just going to go back, make sure I didn't miss any obvious like initial scan stuff, because I've kind of gone a bit overboard with the geometry pass, but it's because I just keep noticing really good stuff with the puzzle. So I may as well do it when I notice it. But anyway, let's go back up to here. So the 1, we're looking at how the 1 is buddying up in its band and its stack, right? So we have all these 1s. The 1 is done in its band, so we don't worry about that. In its stack, we're looking at how 1 is affected by this given, and we're not really seeing much. We got the 3, and you get used to very quickly doing this kind of scan. We got the 5. So we know 5's in one of these two. We may as well mark it. Nothing vertical for the 5, and then we have the 8. So these two 8s look in here, 8's in one of these two. When we do this marking, we want to look for 8 in this column. Lots of places for 8 in this column. All right. So that does it for that box. We have the 1, 3, and 5. So we already took care of the 1. Okay, yeah, the 1s are done horizontally, vertical. In fact, we have 5 1s. Unfortunately, because it's all in one band and one stack, it's not obvious how to continue that. Okay, so the 1, the 3, Yeah, they're done. The 5, yeah, I remember 3s are basically done except over here. I should not worry about 3s. 5s we got marked up completely. Okay. Here we basically already looked at these, but we might as well. So we know we're not going to find any buddies to the left, but we can look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 vertically. 2, 4. Actually, we have this 4 looking down and this 4 looking in. That means 4 is in one of these two in this box. And I'm just looking at this 4, how it affected this box gave me that. And so that 4 is going to point, telling us this can't actually be a 4. So it's down to 1, 9 only. I don't know if I can do anything with that right now. It does affect 4 in this box. 4 is in one of these 3, for what it's worth. All right, so that's the 4, and then we've got the 7 and the 8. So we do have these two 7s. Puts a 7 in one of these two. Already have a 7 in this row. And then the 8. Okay, 8 is similar in that it's in one of these two. That's going to point, again, making that not an 8, meaning 8's in one of these two. We know now this isn't an 8, so we can just put 5, 7, 9 in there. 1, 5, 7, 9, 4, 8. Okay. I'm suspicious of this row, but I don't actually see anything. Let's move on to this band here. So we've got the 6 and the 9. So these two 9s. Oh no, never mind. I misscanned it. Anyway, these 9s look in, putting a 9 in one of these 3. That's not an moment, unfortunately. Vertically, we got them. Okay. 1, 3, 5, 7. Oh, no, we got the 5s marked already. The 7, yeah, I think we've taken care of all these. Okay, and then 5 and 9. All right. 2 and 6 are done, so we just have to worry about the 7, which is marked. 1, 3, 4, okay. I really don't think there's anything more to find in a normal scan here. Let's look for low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit are rows, columns, boxes with 4 or fewer open cells. This box, for example, is down to 1, 4, 5, 8. So this can't be a 4, so it's 1, it's 1, 5, 8. And this can't be an 8, so it's 1, 4, 5. So we want to be on the lookout to see if we created any kind of pair or triple by doing that. I don't think we did. This row is down to 4 open cells, so we know there's 4 digits left. They are the 2, 6, 8, 9. This can't be the 6 or 9s or the 8. Did I say 2, 6, 8, 9? Yeah, this is a naked 2. So just to double check, I'll make that green. It can't be 1. We're saying it's a 2. Can't be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So in the combination of its box, its row, and its column, it has eliminated all but the 2. So if we need to place a digit in it, so it's a naked, it has to be a 2. It's a naked 2. All right. And so now the rest of this row is going to be 6, 8, 9. Write that out. That's not 8. That's not 6. All right. This box has been reduced to 4 digits, and we know this one's not 6, 9, so that's going to already be nice. But the entire box, we need a 4, 6, 7, 9. So this is 4, 7. 4, 6, 7, 9. I think these both are 4, 6, 7, 9. Unfortunately. Okay. This is 5, this is 5. We'll come back to those if we need to. I think that's it for rows. How about columns? Oh, I see an 8, 9 pair. I missed the 8, 9. Oh, when I just penciled this 6, 8, 9, I did not scan for pairs. So that's my fault. But that did create an 8, 9 pair in this column. And so this is a naked pair. One of these has to be 8, one of these has to be 9, because I only have 2 digits left to place in them. I need 2 different digits. One of them's going to be an 8, one of them's going to be 9. I don't know the order, but what I do know is that the rest of the row then cannot have 8s or 9s in it, because we can't repeat the 8 and 9 in the row, column. The rest of the column, it eliminates 8, 9 from the rest of the column. So this cannot be 9, for example, and if it can't be 9, then it only has 7 left. So we can place the 7. So that cannot be 7 now. And then now that places the 7 in this box, which then makes that only a 4. Very nice. That eliminates a 4 from here, but there's still 2 places for 4 in the box. So this is a 6, 7, 9 triple, and this is the only place for 7. So we're left with a 6, 9 pair. Nice. So that eliminates 6 and 9 from the rest of this column. Now, these already couldn't be 6, 9, but this one can't be 9. That's the elimination. That's the one elimination. This one's not 9. Okay, I'm not sure I can do anything with that. We already knew the 9 was over here. Okay. Oh, this is 6, 9. So this is just whatever digits left. Looks like it's the 2. 6, 8, 9 here. That's not a 6, that's not an 8. So we do want to check to see if we created any pairs or triples. I want to finish this column. Notice this can't be 9. So there's just a pair left for this column. The 2 digits that aren't accounted for. One of them's a 2, so that 2 is not there, so it has to go here. And then our final digit is, I'll let you know in a second, it's a 4. Okay. And that's 6, 8, 9. That checks out. All right. Did placing this 2 do anything? We already have it limited here. We already have it limited here. Okay. So what's next? More low-hanging fruit, maybe? Did I expose any new ones? This, no, not this column. Okay. I don't know that there's any new low-hanging fruit here. This column, actually. This column is down to 3, 5, 7, 8. So where is the 7? This 7 says not here, and this 7 says not here. So this column needs a 7. It can only go right there. That's a 3. The 3 now in this box can only be here. It's the only 3 corner mark left in the box. And then that means this is 5 or 8 to finish the column. This 7 actually places the 7 in this box now. We're done with 7s. All right, we have the... Ooh. What's our next step? We got the 7's finished. We got this 3, I believe. Okay. 3s are done. 7s are done. Okay. 5 was in one of these two. We already knew that. How about this box? We need a 4, 6, 8, 9. So this is 4, 8, 9. This is 4, 6, 8. And this is 4, 6, 8. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, I don't think it really does much. How are we finishing this puzzle? This column, 1, 4, 5, 6. This can't be 5 or 6. This is only 1, 4. We have 1, 4, 8, 9 in this row. So 1 in this row is one of these two. Is that helpful? Yeah, 1 in this this box is one of these two. So we learned that this isn't 1. That's what that taught us. I'm not sure that that's super helpful. What is helpful? 1, 4, 8, 9. Okay, the 4 is not here, so this is 1, 8, 9. Oh, it's not 9 either. 1, 8. Tell me 1, 8 does something. All right. I feel like we're at the point where we just need to pencil the right thing. We have the 6, 9 pair, so this column is down to 4 digits. The 1, 4, 5, 8. So this can't be 1, so it's 4, 5, 8. This can't be 5, so it's 1, 4, 8. And this can't be 1, so it's 4, 5, 8. That really didn't do anything, did it? 5, 8, 4, 5, 8. 1, 5, 5, 8. Yeah. 4, 5, 8 with a 5, 8 here. These are the only two I haven't marked. Do I have the pair or triple already marked and I just didn't notice it? Or is there something with these two cells? Okay, well, this one's not 1. Could be 2. It's not 3, 4, 5. It could be 6. It's not 7. Could be 8. It's not 9. So it's down to 2, 6, 8. This can't be 1. Could be 2. Can't be 3. Could be 4. No, it can't be 4. 5. Could be 6. Can't be 7. Could be 8. Can't be 9. So they're both 2, 6, 8. Why is this ending so sticky? 6, 9. 6, 8, 9, 6, 9. We have all these 6, 9s. Oh, all of these. I mean, this one too. But this one doesn't really connect. 5, 8. 1, 5, 8. Oh, the 8s are claiming here, which I did not. I marked this as with an 8. I shouldn't have. That's down to 4, 5. I don't think that does it, though. Maybe there's some claiming that I penciled extra because I didn't notice a corner mark. That's quite possible. So we got the 8s, we got the 6s, we've got the, I'm just looking at every corner mark. We got the 9s, we got the 5s. We have these 5s, we have these 2s, we have these 1s. We have these 6s, we have these 9s. 1s, 2s. All right, we've got the 8s, which I just took care of. The 4s here and the 9s here. Okay, 8 and 5. I mean, that's how much to that? Maybe the 5s, but no. The 4 and the 8 here. Okay. Huh. I must, oh, it's this column. We need a 6 in this column. That's what I missed. Right, I missed the 6s pointing here is also another way to put that. This box needs a 6. So that this 6 looking in, this 6 looking in is crossing on this 9, 7. Okay. Either way, I mean, let's just do it this way. This column needs a 6. This is the only place for 6 in the column. So that has to be a 6, making that 9 and 5, making that 6 and 9. You know, 9, 8, and 6. That's an 8. That's a 9. We get the 5 and the 8 finished. This is just going to do it. None of these are 8. Neither is that. So that has to be 1. That's 4. That's 8. That finishes this 9 here. All right, we get the 4 and the 5 and the 8 and the 1 and the 9. The whole box finishes. Here we get the 4 and the 8 and the 5 and the 2 and the 1. That box finishes. This box finishes. This box finishes. The 5, 8, 1, 4, and we're done. All right. So that was key. The 6 in this column and or the pointing 6s in this box. After having placed the 7, I think is when that came up, but I'm not entirely sure. All right, cool. Well, let me know how you did. If you enjoyed this, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.